And I'm joined by Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart, Carlos Curbelo, and our still and current Congressman Lincoln Diaz-Balart, because he is very much a part of our congressional family. Today, with the news that Fidel Castro has died, I join with the Cuban-American community and the people of Cuba who have lived for decades under this regime in closing one chapter of this nightmare. The political transition in Cuba had already occurred years ago, so don't expect changes coming from Fidel's death. The only thing Fidel Castro has been successful at was staying in power, period. I heard a lot of accolades about the great strides in literacy and against malnutrition and education. We know better. As news of Fidel's death spreads across Cuba, we are receiving reports that pro-democracy advocates, leaders of the pro-democracy movement who oppose the regime, are being rounded up and thrown in jail, purged from the streets, one last measure that symbolizes Fidel's legacy as a brutal tyrant. That is his legacy. He was born in Cuba, and at the age of 8, my family and I were forced to flee from the oppressive communist regime of Fidel Castro, same as Lincoln, who was also born in Cuba. It is a day I will never forget. But my experience is so similar to those who have taken to the streets of Miami last night and again today. It is a journey that many have experienced, but sadly, many have also lost their lives before reaching America's shores. My mom and dad both worked hard for a free Cuba, and it saddens me deeply that they never got the opportunity to see their native homeland bathed in liberty and democracy. I hope to be there that day when my native homeland will be bathed in freedom and democracy. But don't expect Fidel's death to usher this new chapter, a happy chapter of freedom. As the Who sang, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. While Fidel may be hailed as by some as a great leader, nothing could be further from the truth or be more ignorant of the facts. The truth is that he was a sadistic murderer who brought great suffering to the 11 million people of Cuba. He should not be revered. He should be reviled. Now that his death is upon us, we must use this opportunity to refocus our efforts to help the people of Cuba build freedom once again. Ever since Obama's concessions, there are more harassment, more detentions, and even more beatings against innocent civilians, like the ladies in white in Cuba. President-elect Trump has correctly stated that Obama's overtures to the Castro regime were one-sided and only benefited the Cuban regime. I hope that the new administration, under the leadership of President Trump, seizes this moment as an opportunity to reaffirm its commitment to the Cuban people, that it will pressure the Castro regime by rolling back these executive actions of the Obama administration. Our conditions for the Castro regime are already set forth in U.S. law. They were written by Lincoln Diaz-Balart. They were passed by the U.S. Congress. And some of these conditions include respect for human rights, freeing of all political prisoners, free and fair elections, allowing political parties to form. Our commitment is to work closely with the new incoming administration to seek ways to be on the side of the Cuban people who yearn for democracy, who long for liberty, and not cozy up to their brutal repression.